I'm super excited for what is to come next. We're going to get to hear from an incredible speaker, and so get ready to engage and listen and learn. We are going to hear a talk entitled Going Beyond Farming 4.0, Meeting Today's Challenges While Working on Tomorrow's. We will have a representative from CNH Industrial who works in digital and precision solutions and telematics product management. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to our guest speaker for this session, Mr. Dan Halliday.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Wow, what a stage. It's an absolute privilege to be invited here to speak to you all today. Incredible, incredible. So it's already probably obvious from the accent that I was never a future farmer of America, okay? But I was heavily involved in a sister organization back home in the United Kingdom called the Young Farmers Movement. I put this image up because we're going to loop back to it a little bit later on. But basically, back in 2007, I was fortunate enough actually to stand as national chairman for this organization. And really the opportunities that have come since are already born out of the experiences and the great times that I had with the Young Farmers Movement. So we're going to loop back, but for sure, the FFA is obviously an incredible organization and gives you guys some excellent experiences, some excellent knowledge banks to tap into, and this can build your careers for the future. So as it says here, UK born, a dairy farmer's great-grandson. I graduated from University of Reading, degree in agriculture, farmed in the UK, worked for a New Holland dealer in the UK. I worked for New Holland Agriculture in the UK, looking after precision ag, which is where the love for the technology really sort of began in what I do today. I was then transferred to Australia to cover Australia and New Zealand, again with the company, looking after New Holland Precision Agriculture there, before back in 2013 I was transferred to Chicago to head up the global team within New Holland. About 3 months ago, I was put into a slightly different position where I now actually head up product management for the entire company for agriculture. So looking after the CNH brand, the New Holland brand, also the Steyr brand, which we have in Europe. The opportunities that this picture really represents has allowed me to travel to 38 countries with the company, and there's no way I could stand up here today talking to you guys without really what that taught me. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about farming 4.0 and future trends. I'm going to keep wandering around because I feel a little bit like Bono stood in the middle here, yeah? Hopefully you know Bono from YouTube. Okay, we're going to set the scene a little bit about what farming 4.0 actually is, for those of you guys that don't actually know, and talk a little bit about future thoughts. But I really want to reserve a lot of time for Q&A because what's most important is you guys get stuff out of this. You don't want to sit there listening to my drivel for too long. Okay? Sound good? Sound good? Okay. So there's no sales pitch today, but I wanted to start out by saying that, okay, as we look around and we think about agriculture, it's very much aligned to everything else that's going on in our world, yeah? Things are becoming smarter, things are becoming more and more connected every single day. So if you wander and see the simulators on the side here, between the sessions, if you go out into the trade halls, you'll see our new tractors, both represented under Case IH, as well as New Holland. And you'll see how we've moved to the next generation platform, which is really getting ourselves a connected vehicle, working out in the field, that we can make sure we can leverage, take data feeds from, communicate with remotely, and so on and so on. On the right-hand side, we talk a little bit about automation as well. This is another piece that adds to the jigsaw puzzle, and that is really making sure that the guy or the girl that's sat in the combine cab or the tractor cab is getting absolutely the maximum out of the vehicle every minute of every day, all the time, all based on sensors, all based on posh algorithms and sort of fancy stuff in the background. So this really is the foundation for what farming 4.0 really is. And we need to think then beyond that, which is where collectively we all come in. So looking at farming 4.0, what does it really mean? And I took this slide, actually this was one that our execs used about a month ago, and I think it explains it pretty well. If you think about the crop cycle in the middle of the circle, the production cycle then, and then you think about three different buckets, three buckets of, if you like, digital agriculture. The first being fleet, which is asset management. The second being field, which is process management, the more traditional precision agriculture we think about. And then the third being farm, thinking more about enterprise management, so utilizing data, connecting with third parties in order to make sure we're making better decisions to optimize what we're doing. So as Case IH and as New Holland, as CNH Industrial, we have products in all three of these, but we're not really going to talk about them today. We're really going to concentrate on, okay, this is great, but where does it go? So if you think about fleet, what we're actually talking about here is ensuring that our growers around the world have maximized uptime all the time, and that uptime is optimized. So they're getting the most out of their vehicles, they're understanding proactively if things are going to go wrong, so as we can react quicker than after the event. Field, as I said, is traditional precision ag, so thinking about auto steer, auto guidance, section control, these kind of cool things that go on in the field to make sure we're putting our inputs in the right place at the right time and the right amount. And then farm, we're thinking again about farm management there, the enablement to quickly and easily get data off the vehicle in the field and get it to where it needs to go to, so as we can make real-time decisions on the spot. And this is where we link into partners such as Microsoft, they're in the room, Climate, Farmer's Edge, Trimble, and a host of others, to make sure that our growers can get the data that they're collecting to and from their third-party advisors, third-party platforms, or however. This is really the detail behind Farming 4.0, digital agriculture. This is really what it is, what it stands for. Being better informed in real time to make better decisions, ultimately leading to improved profitability, which is the key, okay? So when we begin looking further ahead, there are key trends to consider. And I'm not going to go through all these on the sheet, but I really want to start you guys thinking, and then we have a little bit of a question and answer session before I close then, so as I can understand what you guys are thinking and how you think perhaps things are going to trend out as we go forwards, because you've grown up in an era with smartphones, mobile phones, and so on. As you saw on the first photograph, I'm getting a little bit more old in the tooth now, so I'm excited to see what you guys sort of think. So when we think about how this comes together, a key point is autonomy. That's not necessarily taking the guy or the girl out of the tractor cab or the combine cab, but it's using all of those three areas, fleet, field, and farm, to make sure that we can maximize what the guy's doing in the cab if he's in the cab, or ultimately, eventually, with some tasks, we can maybe take the operator out of the cab and they can be perhaps remotely observing, managing 3 or 4 vehicles, and so on and so on. But this is a key point. We open the door on our farm machines to become even smarter. But we still always need knowledge, which is what's in this room today and what's going to be growing over the next couple of days and beyond, in order to make sure that those decisions that are being made are based on something that's of relevance. Another one on the list is improved user interfaces. And I know there's many colleagues in the room. We've tried really hard on this one. And I think as we go forwards, as an industry, we've still got a ways to go. I mean, I've had an iPhone for 12 years. I do what I do on it. I've never read an operator's manual. I pick it up. I think, I wonder if you can, by the time I've thought about it, typically my thumb, my brain, my eyes, they've all sort of converged and I've done what I need to do. And we're not there in agriculture today, both on the vehicle and off the vehicle. And this is something that we're very mindful of and we need to work on. So a key trend that we've got to fix if we're going to make digital agriculture become more and more mainstream. A closer connection of growers to customers, another key point there, in order to shorten supply chains. If we began to think about linking customer preferences to actions on the farm, all based on knowledge and data feeds, year on year, we could also ensure maybe that we ship the correct crop to the correct customer, and we think about a lot of what we grow as much less a commodity and much more a specialist crop. There's definitely opportunities there if we connect the dots. Another one on the list that I guess close to my heart is the sensors. Increased sensor usage and connections. Much is standalone today. You see on the chart we have crop density sensors, we have soil depth and compaction sensors, but they're all bespoke, they're all standalone today, and we're not good, as yet, at bringing it all together, so we have one common platform. But again, all this requires knowledge, and this is where you guys come in. We have the technologists, we have our farmers and growers, and collectively we must bridge the gap between the two groups with sound domain knowledge. And this sound knowledge I don't see ever being replaced. I mean, artificial intelligence, machine learning, it's all got to be based on fact, and it's ever-changing fact. Mother Nature always has the last word, so she'll always try and make changes when you're least expecting. So my plan now is to take a few questions, because I think that's really what's important. I've tried to lay the ground on what digital agriculture is, some of the areas, I guess, where myself and the team are thinking about our future and where the industry will go. So if I can invite any questions from the audience. Please, there's a gentleman at the front. We have microphones? Yeah.
Hi, I'm wondering what type of data do you hope to collect with your machines?
With our machine type data? That's a great question, yeah, thank you. So basically there's two types of data we want to get off the vehicles. We can put it really in two buckets. The first is machine data, so understanding engine temperatures, coolant levels, fuel levels, and so on and so on. Error codes that may be coming off the vehicle, so we put that in our machine data bucket. The second is an agronomic data bucket. So you remember back to the field, fleet, and farm. The farm element really is going to be very much fed by agronomic data, so yield, moisture, and these kind of things. Okay? Good question. Okay, any from over here? Okay, we've got a...
Hi, I'm Grace Allen from the Trenton FFA chapter of Missouri. So we have a lot of rural farmers where I live, and my question to you is how affordable will this be for farmers in my community? The smaller farmers that may not be able to afford higher end equipment that's expensive.
That's a great question. That's a great question. Thank you. So yeah, this is something that we're definitely mindful of and we think lots about. I actually thought you were going to ask about connectivity, but we maybe come to that in a minute. It's clear that the push for this, or the demand for this type of technology today is going to be the larger growers, corn and bean growers in North America, likewise small grains around the rest of the world, Europe, Australia, and South America. But clearly, it's new technology today. The same with the smartphones. When the smartphones first came out, there was only those that were really interested would go and buy one, yeah, because they were super expensive and probably not so mainstream. So as we begin to roll this out more and more and more as an industry, not just CNH Industrial, as an industry as a whole, and not just machinery manufacturers, there's many more guys in this room that are going to be connected into the platforms that we deliver. I think naturally it will become more mainstream and it will become better priced, shall we say. Okay, good question. Okay, yeah.
Hi, my name is Rachel Smart from the Westlake FFA chapter. So I'm from a more urban part of agriculture where we have a lot of welders, we have a lot of engineers. So how can your technology help the more urban side of agriculture?
Okay, that's a good question. In terms of, you're talking about, so non-agricultural workers on the farm. That's what you're saying? That's what you're asking me? Or?
No, I'm talking about more so like the industry base of agriculture, that side of agriculture. Is there a way that you help them out, or is it just mainly for traditional agriculture that you're helping with your technology?
No, I understand, sorry. Okay, no, good question. And I think how I would take that one is that if we're making our agriculture more efficient, which is obviously the ultimate plan, making ourselves more efficient, making more rural communities more profitable, perhaps making sure that our crops that we're growing are not always mainstream, but they go into specialist customers, so there's an ingestion of more money into the local economy, then I would dream, I would hope that naturally it would help the rural economy further in that way, okay? Okay, We've got time probably for one more, I think. One more? Okay, this gentleman put his hand up earlier, so. Yeah. Sorry. I've got the ladies with the mics on the run.
Okay, my name's Cody from the Lathrop FFA chapter in Missouri. So with all this technology, it comes with, the problem with cybersecurity, right? People may be hacking a tractor or all this technology and destroying all the economy. Do you have plans for how to secure that, or maybe fail safe so it happen if there was a epidemic of hacking?
Great question. Yeah, thank you. No, that's a great question. So the simple answer is yes, we definitely have plans for that because it's a real threat, yeah? And I guess we work in agricultural machinery. We're experts at the vehicles that we build. We're probably not so much experts in cybersecurity. So we lean on the likes of Microsoft, their Azure platform, and we lean on other industry experts to help us make sure that both on the vehicle and then the data off the vehicle is always secure. So we absolutely minimize that risk. But again, good question. Okay, so in summary, I guess it goes pretty quick, 15 minutes. I have my dream job, guys. I'm very, very lucky. I feel like if you have your dream job, you don't really go to work. And I get to play with pretty cool stuff most of the time. The guys won't want to hear that over there, and influence exactly how smart vehicles are developed going into the future. And I can never have done it without the likes of this sort of arena. 20 years ago, I would have been one of you guys sat in the room listening to a speaker. So all I can say is keep at it, take risks, and good luck in your future careers, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Halliday, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us about New Holland agriculture, share your expertise. I know that a lot of students were able to gather so much information from your wisdom, so we really appreciate that. As a small token of our appreciation at FFA, we have a small gift for you that is an FFA Blue Room cutting board. It was actually done by an FFA member, Roy Kroll, from the Mount Carmel FFA chapter, but that's just a small token of our appreciation, and let's give Mr. Halliday one more big round of applause.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.